Hello, it's Adrian from Cademy, and today I'm excited to show you the newest release in the admin dashboard, which is organizations. We've been working on this feature for many months, and there's a lot more to come in the coming weeks around organizations, but we couldn't group them all together into a single release, and this video would be too long to go through everything. So today I'll just cover what's launched as of mid-November and what's available and what you could do with the organizations, and stay tuned for more updates in this space in the coming weeks. Okay. Now, what we've added is a page for you to be able to keep track of your companies or orgs that you work with in a single place very easily. So you'll be able to come into the organization section and create a new organization, and you'll have some default system fields that you can type in and add the details for a organization and create it from scratch. Or you'll be able to bulk import those organizations, and I'll show you how you do that later. But if I look at any organization, by the way, you could of course search and filter and customize what columns you want to see. That's pretty standard. But if I look at any organization in the list, I'll be able to see the full details and fields I have for that organization. I can of course, just like on the contact page, expand this to have more room. I have my notes, and I can add new notes just like on the contact. And what's unique about organizations is that it's a grouping for a bunch of different records, in this case contacts and enrollments. So I will see all the contacts that are linked to this organization in a simple list, and any enrollments that those contacts are on, so any bookings or e-learning courses that those people are on from this organization will be shown in this tab. You can easily from here filter, export, and so on like you would normally do, or even bulk email the contacts from this place as well. If you need to add a contact to an organization, you can do it from here, and you can remove contacts from the organizations from here. It's all pretty self-explanatory and intuitive, just like the rest of our system. When you look at any of the contacts, you'll see that the organization is mentioned here in the organization field, and you can jump back to the organization by clicking on the org link in there. Okay, nice and simple so far. We will show you the organization itself. You can put it in as a column in the contacts or in the enrollments. So you can add it in as a column. You'll see what organization that enrollment or that contact belongs to, and it's just going to make it easy for you to navigate the system and see that information. You can of course also filter by that, both in enrollments. I can come in here and say that I want organization to contain Cademy, for example. And that will pull up all the enrollments where the organization is related to any org that has that mentioned. And you can do the same in the contacts. So far, pretty good, but there's a few important settings that I want to go through and kind of highlight how behind the scenes it works. So under settings, organizations, you'll see that you have the ability to create custom fields. So by default, there's a few that we've put in out of the box, and they'll have certain use cases and special needs, and for example, the billing email will be used for certain scenarios that we'll go through later. But you essentially can add in your own custom fields and reorder them any way you want. So if you want a different address field or a different field of any type, really, you can create it from here and drag it and position it on the page where you want it. Then you have a few extra settings a bit lower on the page. These are very important, and when this feature goes out, this will be disabled on all the accounts. We didn't want to all of a sudden create organizations for you without you having control, so we've turned it off. So if you want to have this enabled, go into settings, organizations, and enable it on your account. So what is this feature? Automatic linking means that we will check whenever you create or update a contact, or when you create or update an organization, if there's contacts and organizations that have the same email domain. So for example, let's say that I am Adrian, my email is adrian@cademy.io. If there's an organization in the system with the web domain set as cademy.io, we will automatically link those two records, and any subsequent contacts that get created, if the domain matches, it will automatically show up under that organization. Now, you could also choose to create organizations while not linking, and that means that let's say somebody signs up and their email is james@example.com. If you don't have an organization in the system with the domain set as example.com, we will create a new organization on the fly. Okay, so it's up to you to choose these options or not. And for certain domains like at Gmail or certain generic ones like all the different email clients, we will automatically ignore them. There's about 6,000 of them that we are ignoring so that we don't create these generic companies. But you can add in your own. So sometimes, let's say you have a set of customers that share the same domain. Maybe a good one is .gov.uk, and you don't want necessarily for them to be grouped into a .gov organization. You can add that to the list of ignored domains, or maybe nhs.co.uk is another one. You can add that to the list of ignored domains, and now when somebody signs up, even if you have the auto-linking enabled, it's not going to put them into the organization automatically. Okay, so by default though, anything else will automatically create an org and link that contact to the org. When we do that, when we create the orgs, we'll even pull in the logos and we'll try and enrich that record for you so the account looks nice and beautiful. Whenever you look at any of these records, you'll see a beautiful logo for their profile and any information that we can additionally get from public sources. Now, how do you get started in populating your account? We recommend that you go in and get your data imported. You do that through settings and imports. There's now an option to import organizations. You click on that and you can drag in a spreadsheet and you'll be able to map the different fields like the name, web domains, and so on, as well as the custom fields that you created in the organizations section in here. So you'll be able to map that from the spreadsheet, and once you do that, it'll create the organizations, and if you have the auto-linking enabled, it will automatically pull in those contacts. So if you don't want that to happen at the point when you import, make sure you leave that option off in settings, because if you enable it, as soon as you do the bulk import, we will automatically find and group all those contacts under the relevant orgs. Something else to mention, if in an ideal world, all orgs that you have in the system will have a unique domain. You can actually add multiple domains in here if you want. You can put a comma and ember.org, let's say, maybe is another domain they use, and we'll be able to support linking both contacts that have either of these domains, right? What we want to do though is to make sure that these domains are unique, so there's not multiple companies using the same domains, because when we will try and match the contact to an organization, we will not know which one to choose. When that happens, we will choose the oldest organization and we'll link the contact to the oldest org. But it's best to try and avoid having duplicate organizations with duplicate domains, essentially. In fact, if I was to try and put in cademy.co.uk here, there's already another org using that, and it'll prompt me, hey, there's already an organization using that domain, would you like us to merge? So it works very similar to how emails work in Cademy for contacts, where we try and avoid contacts with duplicate emails, and we prompt you to merge those records rather than have two separate ones, to avoid other situations where it can cause contacts being linked to the different orgs that you wouldn't necessarily intend. So this is another caveat, just keep that in mind. So when you import orgs in bulk as well, try and make sure that the domains are unique or for those orgs, otherwise you might end up with merged records if you don't expect that to happen, okay? All right, we hope you enjoyed this update, and as I said, there's lots more to come in the coming weeks around organizations, and I'll do separate videos to highlight all the things we're announcing. We hope you'll try it out and have feedback. As always, just message us and we'll be happy to chat and answer questions. All right, thank you so much. Take care.